The 1% rule, doing 11 when your opponent stops at 10.
The difference between gold medalists and those who never make the podium is not what you think. In the 100-meter sprint at the Olympics, the difference between first place and eighth place is often less than half a second. In a race that lasts less than 10 seconds, that margin is barely perceptible to the human eye. Yet one athlete goes home as a legend, their name etched in history, their face on magazine covers, their legacy secured forever. The other goes home as someone who almost made it, a footnote in the record books, remembered by no one except their immediate family. The distance between them is invisible, but the outcome is worlds apart. This is the truth about success that most people never understand. Greatness and mediocrity are separated by a razor-thin margin. It's not about being twice as good as everyone else. It's not about having supernatural talent or unlimited resources. It's about doing 1% more, consistently, day after day, when everyone else has decided that good enough is good enough. This is what I call the 1% rule, the principle that doing 11 when your opponent stops at 10 creates a compounding advantage that becomes insurmountable over time. The question is not whether you're capable of that extra 1%. You are. The question is whether you're willing to pay the price while others sleep.
Before we talk about how to do 11, we need to understand why almost everyone stops at 10. It's not laziness in the traditional sense. Most people who stop at 10 are hardworking by normal standards. They show up, they put in effort, they do what's expected. The problem is that what's expected is the ceiling of mediocrity. Stopping at 10 means doing your job, meeting your quota, fulfilling your obligations, and then stopping. It means working out until you're tired instead of until you've grown. It means studying until you understand the material instead of until you've mastered it. It means building your business until it's stable instead of until it's exceptional. People stop at 10 for several reasons. First, they're exhausted. Giving 100% to anything is draining, and most people's reserves are depleted by the time they hit that mark. Second, they don't see the point. The difference between 10 and 11 seems trivial, hardly worth the extra effort. Third, nobody else is doing 11. When you look around and see everyone else stopping at 10, there's no social pressure to keep going. Fourth, and most importantly, they don't understand compound interest. They think of effort as linear when it's actually exponential. The extra 1% today doesn't just add to your results, it multiplies them over time in ways that seem almost magical to outside observers.
Let me share some numbers that should change the way you think about effort forever. If you improve by just 1% every day, you will be 37 times better at the end of a single year. Not 365% better, 3,700% better. This is the power of compound interest applied to personal development. Conversely, if you decline by just 1% every day, through small compromises, minor indulgences, tiny abandonments of discipline, you will be down to 3% of your starting capacity in that same year. These numbers are not motivational hyperbole, they are mathematical reality. The small choices you make daily are not small at all. They are the difference between exponential growth and exponential decay. This is why the 1% rule is so powerful and so overlooked. Most people are looking for the breakthrough, the hack, the shortcut that will transform their results overnight. They want the magic pill, the secret strategy, the one weird trick that experts don't want them to know. But the real secret is there is no secret. There is only the relentless, unglamorous, day-after-day commitment to doing slightly more than you did yesterday, slightly more than your competition does today. The gap starts invisible and ends insurmountable. This is how underdogs become champions and how champions become legends, not through dramatic transformations, but through microscopic advantages accumulated over time. Theory is useless without application, so let's get specific about what doing 11 looks like in practice. In your workout, doing 11 means finishing your last set and then adding one more rep, even when your muscles are screaming. It means running an extra quarter mile when your lungs are burning. It means holding that plank for an additional 30 seconds when every fiber of your being wants to collapse. In your work, doing 11 means finishing your to-do list and then asking, what else can I do? It means polishing that project after it's done to make it exceptional instead of acceptable. It means following up with that client one more time, preparing one more hour for that presentation, reading one more chapter to deepen your expertise. In your relationships, doing 11 means listening for another few minutes when you're tempted to give advice. It means writing the handwritten note instead of just sending the text. It means remembering the small details that show you truly care. In your personal development, doing 11 means one more page, one more podcast, one more hour of practice. In your business, doing 11 means one more sales call, one more iteration of your product, one more attempt to improve customer experience. Notice that none of these examples are dramatic or heroic. They are small additions that feel almost insignificant in the moment. But these insignificant additions, repeated thousands of times, create the significant differences that separate extraordinary lives from ordinary ones. Here's something that might surprise you. Your competition is making it easy for you to win. Not because they're not talented, many of them are more talented than you. Not because they're not working hard, many of them put in serious hours. They're making it easy for you because they all stop at 10. They've all agreed, consciously or unconsciously, that there's a level of effort that's reasonable and that going beyond it is excessive, unnecessary, or even unhealthy. This collective agreement creates an enormous opportunity for anyone willing to reject it. When you commit to doing 11, you're not just marginally better than your competition, you're playing a different game entirely. You're operating in a space where there is almost no competition at all. Most industries, most fields, most areas of life are drowning in people who do 10 and starving for people who do 11. This is why mediocre talents with exceptional work ethics routinely outperform exceptional talents with mediocre work ethics. The talent gives you access to the game. The work ethic determines whether you win. So instead of worrying about whether you're talented enough, start asking whether you're committed enough. Because the 1% who do 11 will always beat the 99% who stop at 10, regardless of natural ability.
Doing 11 cannot rely on motivation or willpower. These are finite resources that will fail you exactly when you need them most. Instead, you need to build systems that make going the extra mile automatic. Start by identifying the 3 areas of your life where the 1% rule would have the biggest impact. For most people, these are health, wealth, and relationships or skills. In each area, define specifically what doing 10 looks like for you right now. Then define what doing 11 would look like. The key is to make the extra effort small enough that you can do it every day, but significant enough that it creates real compound growth. Next, attach your 11 actions to your existing 10 routines. If your current workout is 30 minutes, add 3 minutes at the end that push you beyond your comfort zone. If you currently make 10 sales calls a day, add 1 more that you wouldn't have made otherwise. If you read for 20 minutes, add 2 more minutes of active note-taking or application. The key is to make the transition from 10 to 11 seamless, not a separate decision you have to make each time. Over time, your 11 will become your new 10, and you'll need to find a new 11. This is progressive overload applied to life itself, and it's how continuous improvement becomes not just possible, but inevitable.
There will be days, many days, when doing 11 feels impossible. When your body is screaming for rest, when your mind is foggy with fatigue, when every logical argument points to the reasonableness of stopping at 10. These are the most important days of all. These are the days when your commitment is tested, when the gap between you and your competition widens or narrows. These are the days when you must remember that the voice telling you to stop is the same voice that has kept millions of people mediocre, comfortable, and ultimately unfulfilled. In these moments, use what I call the future self technique. Ask yourself, will my future self thank me for doing 11 right now, or will they wish I had? The answer is almost always clear. Your future self doesn't care about how tired you feel in this moment. Your future self cares about the results that only come from consistent excellence. Also remember that discomfort is temporary, but regret is permanent. The pain of doing 11 fades within hours. The consequences of always stopping at 10 last a lifetime. Finally, understand that your capacity for doing 11 expands with practice. What feels impossible today will feel challenging tomorrow and routine next month. Every time you push past your perceived limits, you expand those limits for the future.
Everything in your life comes down to a simple decision that you make thousands of times. Will I do 10 or will I do 11? It seems like a small question with a small answer, but the accumulation of those answers over months, years, and decades creates the story of your life. People who consistently choose 11 end up in a completely different place than people who consistently choose 10, not by a little, but by an astronomical margin. They have different bank accounts, different health outcomes, different relationships, different legacies, all from a 1% difference in daily decision-making. Today, you have a choice. You can watch this video, feel momentarily inspired, and then go back to your life of doing 10. Or you can make a decision right now that changes everything. You can commit Truly commit to being a person who does 11. Not sometimes, not when you feel like it. Always, in everything, starting today. The path to your dreams is not complicated. It's not about luck or talent or connections. It's about the willingness to do what others won't, to go where others stop, to persist when others quit. Your opponent will stop at 10. Will you? Or will you become the person who always does 11, and in doing so, become unstoppable?